So before, when I taught about the chakras, we talk about the stuff you do at the root, and then we talk about the stuff you do at the second center, the sexual center, the sacral center, and then the stuff you do at the third center. But there was no path of how I actually evolved through the root. So going into the sacral is the next natural, it's where it flows if it goes the way it needs to go. And so that's kind of the approach that we're taking in a real organic, applicable chakra therapy practice. Yeah. So the second chakra, the sacral chakra, is where we let go of having to do it all by ourselves, where we can work in relation to the other, where we can have an interplay. And the word is for real, interplay, you know. And so even if you're not in a relationship that is fruitful, or even if you're just plain not in a relationship, or your relationship is wound down to a space, it's like, I still don't have to go it alone. There is always that playful connection. Pushing with the heel of the hands. Oh, feel how grounded that is in the solar plexus? Yes? No? Yes. Yeah. And then back to child. Now at the third chakra, we get to start growling. Okay, rawr. When I'm wanting to manifest desires, need is right down in the root. These are my needs. I need it so bad, I need it so bad, I need it. Oh, please make this happen for me, okay? Need, all right? That's how I manifest need. And when I start to draw in manifestation into need, I will usually find more lack and more need that shows up because I'm wanting to manifest out of this need. And I'm so afraid I'm not going to get what I want. And so I'm in need, okay? And so what will tend to show up is lots of need. And I know about that. Going through the cancer, I could feel myself manifesting through need. You know, and they were real needs, real sincere needs. And so when you get in, for anyone here, whoever faces chronic physical issues, a lot of times you just manifest more survival and other issues related to that. So the chakra work is powerful to do while you're experiencing some of those deeper edges of that. Then there's want, which is the sacral center. I want it so bad I can taste it. Okay? I want it. Because I'm trying to satiate something in me. Okay? And then there's get. I need to manifest something. I want to get it. So I don't have to feel this anymore. So I don't have to feel that anymore. I want to get it. And so I'm working with manifesting through there. And that's where we have all sorts of ethical issues show up, and you don't have the maturity in the heart to go there yet. When we get into the heart, and I've learned this just maybe in the last 3 weeks, that's where we hit supplication. And so the concept of supplicating is a sincere desire, which is the manifesting through the third eye, okay, and the request, which is manifesting through the throat. When it gets into here, it is a pure supplication. And supplication is my asking for it and my receiving it, my full vulnerability, that all I can do is ask, knowing that all I can do is receive. And it is about releasing everything that you have not yet released, saying what you need to have said, you know, before moving on. And it is like a death. You are leaving the ego behind. You are shedding that aspect of yourself that is keeping you from dying into a new version of yourself, that transformation. And so the throat center is this azure color. It's this lovely, lovely blue. And the sky right above the green of the earth is just like that throat chakra just above the heart. It's really great. When you start to use your voice, can we use our voice for a minute? Okay. So think about maybe where you're going to get your sound from. And when you bring in that component of love, then it changes a little bit. But for me, the interesting thing was I remember having the thought, and I remember saying to God, sort of, thy will, thy will. However, if it's within your spectrum, I'd like to stay and raise my son, you know. And it was very clear, you know, that upon that request, I came back in. There was no, oh, I'm getting what I've asked for, okay, here it comes. No, you ask, and there it was. Yeah. And when you cross through the veil, you were speaking metaphorically, but you can take it as literally as you wish. It's my belief that it's pretty literal, what I'm saying, but you get to decide for yourself, because this is to the best of my knowledge and what works for me. That is the way it is on the other side of the veil. You request, and it's there. And so, can you see how important it would be for me to be able to slow myself down in some clay and have to ask and have to do stuff and have to gain the perspective of what I've done and then be able to choose again from there instead of just saying, and there it is. And it's like, it's that sense of if I'm in grieving, then more and more grieving and more and more grieving and more, and that's hell. Okay, or sorrow or anger or... And how do I shift that? How do I turn away from that? Well, when I take on this clay mortal coil, you know, this coil called the chakras, I get to actually work more malleable than, and there's more to it than I'm saying. But if that were the case, then I would need to slow it down, and I would need to learn perspective and change and shift and things like that. The third eye is to command. Ajna is the name of it, or perceive. So if I can't perceive something, then I can't choose any different than what I know. Okay? And here is where we enter the holographic centers of the third eye. And it is that experience in Shavasana where you are laying down this frail existence. And it doesn't have to be the final letting go. Shavasana is this incredibly wonderful opportunity that we have in our modern culture, in this ancient tradition, to have some place where that is part of the culture. To actually, at the end of every class, to lay that mortality down and let all the movements of the mind, all the movements of the body, lay it down. And in the ways of Shavasana, Shavasana is a Sanskrit word that means corpse pose. And it's not meant to be morbid, you know, and it's not meant to be laying super still and looking like you're dead. It's that concept of redemption, of laying the body down and then taking it up again. And so it depends on where you are, but the more you experience what it's like to be in your light body, the more it will make the time in your mortal body of use. So this is my own personal opinion. This is how I judge the fruit of my labor. When I'm doing something, when I come back from it, does it make me more functional in my body? Does it make me less in those shadows of all the chakras? And that might be over the long term. Is it gradually making me more functional, more connected, more able to live in both realms? Or is it something where I'm constantly having to fly out in the ethos to even validate myself? That, to me, it's not real balance. The concept of the chakras is to work with heaven and earth together. And so it should make me more functional. It should make me more authentic. It should make me It should increase my level of awareness and integrity. And it's really the difference between intimacy and immunity. And intimacy means I will know something intimately, which might be my power center, this or that, or my root center, and I know it intimately. Oh, I know that intimately. I know that place. Not that I'd want to go there. Or there's the good, lovely, touchy-feely intimacy, which is like to have an intimacy with something so sacred and beautiful. And I'll share with you a glimpse that's coming to mind, so I assume I'm supposed to share it. But I was in the throes of it all, and I got a week off where my immune system kind of came up a little bit, and so I got to go in the grocery store for the first time in like 6 months. Okay, but I'm bald as a billiard ball. Okay, and I see my dear, dear friend Alicia, who's about 8.5 months pregnant. I didn't know she was pregnant, and I am in the grocery store rubbing her belly as she's rubbing my head. You know, that's intimacy. That's an intimacy with this life. Now, if I had a different consciousness down here, that would just be freaky. Ooh, why would you want to touch a belly? Ooh, why would you want to touch it? You know. And so that's what I'm talking about. Crown chakra has all the different colors in it. What happens is it started going through patterns of movement. Different parts would light up, even though it was all negative. It was all in the negative, like an X-ray. So I thought, ooh, how cool. Well, maybe I can adjust the colors. So I adjusted them so I can play it on video and it will go like that, you know. And then I layered them over each other. So the red goes like that, and then the orange pulls through that. If you're streaming this online, Om, with us. Okay. So whenever you're ready. Namaste.